All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? Monday here. We got a nice little 9-game slate starting at 6:40 Eastern time, so about 30 minutes before that standard 7:10, 7:07, 7:05 lock time that we normally see. 6:40. We got 3 games locking at that 6:40 window, so DraftKings, instead of making a 6-game slate, decided to include those and just make it a full 9-game slate. Bravo, DraftKings. I do like that a lot. And those first 3 games are very, very important in terms of bats, in terms of pitching. We're going to break through it all. If you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton here. Hamwich, bring you in right away, man. How was your weekend? What's going on, brother?
Yeah, good afternoon. Monday, it's a 9-game slate, I think, and it's a lot of games on a Monday, so that's nice. Weekend was good. Father's Day was good, man. The ending of that golf tournament. I'm not a big golf watcher guy, but, man, that was fun to watch. How do you not like Bryson, Rory choking? Hey, I don't know what side you're on, Nades, but, man, if you're a former athlete or play sports, like, who wants to talk to the media after you just lose in gut-wrenching style? I don't have a problem with Rory just peacing out. That's just me. Interested to hear your take on that. Like, hey, what does the media want? Whatever. But great Father's Day. Hopefully you talk to your father or father figure, somebody. And, ready to talk some winners today.
Yeah, I mean, my take is man up, win with class, lose with class, right? It's a gut-wrenching situation, right? Kind of been the story of Rory's career, right? No majors, right? And, I come from the nature of do it for the fans, do it for the people, right? Win with class, lose with class. So that's kind of my understanding. I think he should have stuck around and at least, agreed that, hey, he threw this one away, things like that. That's kind of where I'm from. Bryson, I mean, hell of a tournament, hell of a comeback from Bryson there. And it was cool to see, right? He's a man of the people, right? Total opposite of what Rory did, right? Bryson sitting there with the kids and kind of just loving life there, obviously coming from Live, playing the major here. So overall, I didn't watch a ton of the golf tournament. I was actually out on the golf. I played 32 holes yesterday, so I was out on the golf course myself. Well, that was ending there. But, yeah, that's kind of my takes. I would have stuck around. Hey, I mean, everyone saw what you did, so everyone knows. Man up to it and just win with class, lose with class. That's kind of my mentality there. But, happy Father's Day to all the fathers and all the people out there in the streets. Hopefully you enjoyed the Sunday. And I see people talking about it, right? You can bake a pie outside right now. I walked outside. And, you get hit in the face, 90 degrees, super humid here. I mean, we're going to talk about hitting conditions across the slate. Incredible weather all the way across the slate, especially across the Midwest here. Philly's got really good weather. Pittsburgh has really good weather there. Obviously, Coors Field is super hot, wind blowing out there with the Doyers in town. Wrigley wind game, super hot there. Overall, really, really hot outside. We see it in the chat. So, should be an interesting little slate here. Go Collect. What's up, man? Gator Nation in the chat. Michael Pogden with the super chat. Appreciate that as always. There, I'm sure he's probably ripping the little festivities out there. The standard hit the rip and listen to the boys on SHIPIT Nation. So we appreciate that. Everybody else tuning in, thanks you guys so much for being here. If you guys are not a member yet at SHIPIT Nation, this code is still live. FGWC15, last chance to get 15% off monthly or annual packages over here. It was an incredible win and weekend over here, as you saw on our Twitter page or X. If you haven't seen, tons of 5-figure, 4-figure, huge ROI wins across the industry and across all sports, which we have you covered for all sports. That code does apply there. So get in now, no better time. Code's not going to be not going to be active for much longer. So now's the time to save a little bit of money there as well. Also, the Shiptimizer does come with any membership package currently right now as an add-on feature for free for the time being there. So best time, join now, FGWC15. Hamwich, we're going to talk 9 games, man. We're going to talk pitching. We're going to go game by game. I'm going to mention some weather along the way as well, in terms of hitting conditions, and that we don't really have any weather concerns in terms of delays or rain or storms or anything like that. From what I see off the top, it's just more good hitting weather across the slate in a couple of these spots. Let's go 8K and above. We're going to start up at the top, and I'm going to throw out a couple guys, 2 guys in particular here. Paul Skeens against the Cincinnati Reds team, 9,500. Clear-cut SP1 on the slate. Skeens has looked absolutely incredible all season long. Now gets good pitcher's ballpark here at home. He's looked elite. The Cincinnati Red team struggles, especially on the road. Touch on him in particular, and then Kikuchi right behind him. Those are kind of the chalk 2 guys up at the top in terms of the chalk pairing on the slates. But when we talk about it, there's a lot of other guys up here. Sonny Gray, right, against those fish out of the water there in a pitcher's ballpark out there in Miami as 10-5, the most expensive guy. The only argument you can make for him is this Miami team overall just doesn't strike out a ton. Looking at the numbers at home, I mean, 21% strikeout rate. He's 10-5. There's expensive offenses to pay for. So touch on him, touch on Max Fried, and then any of these other guys up at the top tier in terms of pivots that you want to go to.
Yeah, it should be an interesting slate. Pitching-wise, I was ready to come on here and just pound the table on Sonny Gray, man. You kind of talked me out of it, Nades. I'll be honest with you, talking about all these bad things Sonny Gray is doing. Man, but let me just start with Sonny Gray. Before I came on the show, he was by far and away my favorite pitcher, taking on these flat fish who got struck out 13 times by some guy named DJ Hers on Saturday. They are not any good. Just looking at the numbers over the last 14 and 30 days, I mean, they're striking out 30%. Swinging miss rate is out the roof. Chase is out the roof. I just don't see how Sonny Gray just doesn't come in here and dominate this team. And you start talking about how he only strikes out 9% of this roster. So I'm going to have to go back. But, man, Sonny Gray to me looks very nice. Same thing for Max Fried. I mean, Max Fried going to come with not the same amount of ownership as Skeens. I think Skeens comes in the highest owned, but I think Max Fried's in a great spot. Wind blowing in. It is hot in Atlanta, but, man, this Tigers team is not very good. I know they blew up on Saturday, but Max Fried, a ground ball pitcher. Tigers striking out 30% versus lefties over the last 14 days. He's going to be tough to fade for me as well. And then you got Skeens. I mean, what's not to love about this guy taking on the Reds? The Reds, though, don't strike out as much as from what I see, 22% over the last 14 days. What are they striking out on the road versus right-hand pitching? You would know that better than me. They're almost up to 26%. So Skeens is going to be up there. And then you got Kikuchi taking on this Red Sox team. And my motto is, man, they played the Yankees all weekend, played Sunday Night Baseball. Now go on the road to take on this Blue Jays team where Kikuchi's been pretty good at home. Red Sox striking out 30% versus lefties over the last 14 days. He's a great play. Nick Pivetta, another really good play. He's been absolutely lights out. My least favorite play, interested to see what you think about these guys. Chris Sanchez, I don't have any interest in him, nor do I have any interest in Javier Assad. I actually have interest in the offense on the other side. But, man, those what is that? The top 5 pitchers, I think they're all in great matchups, Nades.
Yeah, excellent breakdown there. I'll start with Assad. I have zero interest in Assad. Win game in Wrigley. Actually, when we get to offense, I have a pretty hot take there. Touching on reason I'm not playing Assad there. Sanchez, I just can't do it. Low strikeout pitcher against a low strikeout offense in the Padres, just not for me. Very, very good hitting weather in Philadelphia as well. So I'm out on Sanchez. I'm out on Assad. Nick Pivetta, I think at tournaments is a very, very elite play. I like pairing Kikuchi and Pivetta together actually in lineups, get you off of the Skeens ownership. And I like pairing pitchers together on DraftKings a lot. Typically pretty much guarantees you that 4-point win bonus most of the time, obviously, unless it goes to a no decision or something like that, right? Or the bullpen kind of blows it. I really like both of those guys a lot. Pivetta, I don't think gets much ownership at all. He's going to be the forgotten guy in this range. So I really like him. Kikuchi, hard not to like Kikuchi. Boston's been one of the worst teams, if not the worst team all season long against left-handed pitching. Kikuchi, good ballpark at home there. I really like him a ton. And then Skeens, by far and away, my SP1. Hard to ignore. He's good chalk, in my opinion. Obviously, I talk about chalk a lot on the slate. Typically, I'm off the chalk. this is a spot where I'm kind of just going in and eating the chalk here. Looking at this Reds team, I mean, on the road this season, 26% strikeout rate. Now we get to face Paul Skeens at home, who displays almost a 28% strikeout rate here. It is good pitching weather. That's the only thing there. Looking at the temperatures in Pittsburgh, it's about 90 degrees, some slight wind blowing kind of across the field. But that's kind of the nature of the slate, right? There's good pitching weather pretty much everywhere. It's hard for me to ignore. Max Fried, really like Max Fried. I prefer Max Fried over Sonny Gray, just at the salary discount. I mean, salary is definitely important on the slate. There's a lot of high-priced offenses, right? I love the Phillies. I love the obviously the Dodgers bats are interesting, right? That Wrigley game with both sides, the Cubs and the Giants. There's expensive offenses to play here. So for me, I like the salary. I need that salary. So I like Max Fried here. Just looking at the matchup, it's just strictly a matchup play. The Tigers, 28% strikeout rate on the road this season against left-handed pitching. Fried at home should have some run support. I think the Braves can get to Reese Olson. Braves to start to hit the ball a little bit better as of late as well. So that's kind of the reasons there. Sonny Gray, I think, is fine. But what scared me is just looking at the numbers, the career numbers against this Miami team. And obviously, right, I get it. Sonny Gray has been elite this season. He's been very good over the last month, and Miami has not. But his career numbers in 54 plate appearances, just a 9.3% strikeout rate, and opposing WOBA for these Marlins at almost a 350. So that's kind of the reason I'm a little bit lower on Sonny Gray, despite the ballpark, despite the matchup, despite how he's been. It's more the salary and kind of those career numbers that is just enough to get me off when I really like the other guys, Pivetta, Skeens, and Kikuchi so much more. I save salary. So that's kind of the reason. And before that, wouldn't fault anyone for playing Sonny Gray or Max Fried at the top. Personally, for me, I like some of these high-powered offenses. So I'm going to be looking to save a little bit of money, especially at the SP2 position here, which we're going to break down next, below 8K range here. There's some guys down here that feel pretty gross to play, but overall I think are pretty interesting. So that's kind of my breakdown at the top. Let's jump 8K and below here. Throw out a couple guys for you. Braxton Garrett, obviously on the other side of Sonny Gray there at home. Touch on him. Carlos Rodriguez down at 6,300, going to pick up a little bit of ownership. Really, ownership's not going to matter down here in this range. So pretty much anyone you have interest in, go ahead and do it. I have some interest in some of these guys down at the bottom. Carson Spires, number one. Carlos Rodriguez, I think, is solid as well. And then David Peterson. Those are kind of the three names that I have interest in down at the bottom. They're pretty gross, but that's kind of where I'm looking, just solely based on matchups and salary savings to afford high-powered offenses.
I can't believe you uttered the name David Peterson out of your mouth. That might be the worst take I've ever heard you take. I don't even think that's his name. He's striking out 5% of righties, Nades. Come on now. There's really only one name. There's really only one name to play. You should go ahead and lock him into all your lineups. He's $7,200. He's going to absolutely mow down this Cardinals lineup. Braxton Garrett, you said his name first. Hopefully he doesn't come with a whole lot of ownership. I like him over there on FanDuel as well. You could jam in those top end Dodgers bats. But yeah, give me some Braxton Garrett. I think he mows down this Cardinals team who trotted out their JV lineup tonight. Not a very good lineup tonight for the boys from St. Louis. Braxton Garrett's going to shove it right down the Cardinals' throats.
Braxton Garrett, well, I will take Carson Spires to outscore Braxton Garrett personally for me. Just looking at the numbers here, this Cardinals lineup, I know you hate this Cardinals team, but a 15.6% strikeout rate on the road this season against left-handed pitching. It is a good ballpark and all that. I just rather save salary, to be honest. That's kind of the reason. I think Braxton Garrett's fine. I'm out on Braxton Garrett personally. And David Peterson, it's more of our pitcher rankings like David Peterson. I mean, they got David Peterson ranked ahead of Sanchez, ahead of John Gray, Rodriguez, Soriano, Olson, Assad. Braxton Garrett is one of the worst ranked pitchers for us over here. So I'm trusting our sauce, the metrics behind our secret sauce over here at SHIPIT Nation. That's kind of the reason there. And he's $6,000. And this Texas team, looking at the numbers as well, 26% strikeout rate. I get it, right? David Peterson hasn't struck out anyone, hasn't struck out Hamwich, and this guy hasn't seen a baseball in 75 years over there with his gray beard and whatever. It came on the show, pre-show, with his little headband and a little comb in his beard over there. I don't know what was going on there, but I'll take my chances at 6K. David Peterson. My favorite play down here, though, for sure, is Carson Spires. The reason I like this guy a lot, it is his first start. He could have first start jitters. We saw this guy make a long relief appearance last game where he went 7 strikeouts, one walk, and 5 scoreless innings. I think he can do that here. It is good weather there in Pittsburgh. I like some of the Pittsburgh bats in terms of one-offs there. But at 6,600, I think he's got a good strikeout stuff. This Pirates lineup overall isn't electric by any means. So he's probably my favorite guy at 6,600 down here at the bottom. I think, like I said, him, Rodriguez, and Peterson are all kind of in the same bucket. Spires being my most or my favorite of the bunch. And then probably David Peterson, to be honest, number 2, which is pretty gross. Braxton Garrett, I think, is fine. But I'd rather just, instead of living in that middle tier, just drop all the way down and get that extra $1,200 to $1,500 in salary to spend up at some bats, personally, is where I'm going. Hamwich, I'll throw it over to you. Go ahead and give your top 5 pitchers before we go game by game and talk hitters on the slate.
Hey, go collect. I want to see the same energy in the chat tonight when Braxton is slicing and dicing. Got that perfect game going into the 8th inning tonight. You and Nades. I'm going to be dunking all over you and Nades in the chat. So make
perfect game. I will bet everyone net worth in the chat, including mine, including everyone at SHIPIT Nation, that he does not have a perfect game. And I'm with Go Collect. Go Collect. We're arm in arm. Pretty good track record against Hamwich. He's made up a little ground. It's about 8-2 right now, I think. Now after the last couple weeks, but nonetheless, I think we're on the right side here. Go Collect. I'm with you. No Braxton Garrett for me. I think the Cardinals can get to him there. So it's me and Collect versus Hamwich and whoever else takes his side here tonight.
I got Garrett. He's my 5th ranked pitcher tonight. I'm going to go Sonny Gray 1, Max Fried 2, Paul Skeens 3, Kikuchi 4, and then give me some Braxton Garrett. Give me some Braxton Garrett as my 5th ranked pitcher tonight.
All right. Well, I'm going Paul Skeens number 1, Kikuchi number 2, number 3, Carson Spires with the salary savings, Nick Pivetta 4, and then my 5th is your boy. You said the grossest play on the entire slate, David Peterson at 6K. And I wouldn't even be surprised to see David Peterson outscore Braxton Garrett tonight.
Oh,
let's jump over and talk game by game here. We're going to start in Pittsburgh. Carson Spires on the mound. Paul Skeens on the mound. I hope this is a pitcher's duel. I like pairing these two pitchers together. Despite the weather, it is very nice. Like I said, 91 degrees there. Some slight wind kind of blowing across the field. Wind's not really a factor. For me, I like some one-offs in this game. On the Pirates side, I'd rather pick against Carson Spires making his first start. Obviously, he's come in long relief and out of the bullpen. Andrew McCutchen, I think, is fine. O'Neal Cruz. But outside of that, really no interest in terms of bats in this one. Candelario has been absolutely red hot at the plate at 4,300. He's hitting 3rd here tonight against the chalk on the slate. Any interest in terms of any hitters here in Pittsburgh for you?
Yeah, I don't think so. Definitely not taking anybody against Skeens. He's a great pitcher, obviously. And then, not going to trust these Pirates first game back out of Coors against a pitcher we have some liking in the pitcher's ballpark. I'll pass 9 games. Can't play them all. This is one. No sticks for me.
Yeah, I will say Andrew McCutchen is probably my favorite bat in this game. I like him as a one-off. He's batting leadoff here, 3,900 on DraftKings. That's a very nice price point in the outfield, 3K on FanDuel. Very, very nice play there. He's been hitting the ball pretty good as long as he puts the ball in play to avoid his season-long about 30% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching at home here. Let's jump to the next game. This is one of my favorite games, favorite offenses on one side of this game. Looking at the weather here in Philadelphia, 85 degrees, 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out to center field here. And the Phillies get to face Randy Vasquez and his sub-20% strikeout rate. I think he's a gas can. I love this Phillies offense here. If you want to talk about chalk pivots off the Dodgers at the similar price points, give me these Phillies to outscore the Dodgers here tonight. That's my hot take of the slate. I love these Phillies bats. No Padres interest for me against Christopher Sanchez. I think he's a solid enough real-life pitcher. I think obviously you can always play Manny Machado, but for me, I really love these Phillies bats. Phillies one of my favorite stacks of the evening. I'll throw it over to you. Where are you going here in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I agree with you. Love these lefties tonight. For these Phils is Trey Turner. He's back tonight, right?
Trey Turner's batting second.
Yeah, Trey Turner's back. He's obviously not a lefty, but welcome back, Trey. 6 weeks on the IL. Now he's back. That's obviously a huge boost, to the guys like Schwarber, to the guys like Harper. He's going to hit in between those. But, man, give me these lefties to take on Vasquez. You said he's not very good. And then my hot take is going to be I like these Padres tonight. Was on Tatis yesterday, and I think he was 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. But they just don't strike out against left-handed pitching. Don't hit a lot of bombs, but, hey, they put the ball in play. They have some power. They have, about a 35-40% fly ball rate versus left-handed pitching. So, yeah, give me these Padres. I like them tonight. You talked about that weather. You talked about the 27 outs that they're going to get. Yeah, really like these righties especially. Don't mind a lefty Cronenworth to throw in a stack as well. But, hey, I like this game a lot, Nades.
Yeah, I love the Phillies. Probably my second favorite stack on the board, I would say, behind a team we're going to get to in a little bit here. Schwarber, love him. Trey Turner, welcome back. Love him. Obviously, he's always a threat to steal bases as well, hitting second there. My boy, David Dahl, is back in the lineup there, hitting eighth at 3K. Really nice value play there. I love David Dahl a ton. I like the wraparound stack at the bottom. Alec Boehm has really good numbers. 1 through 9 firmly in play for me on the Phillies. Like I said, my second favorite offense against Randy Vasquez, who allows a ton of power to both sides of the plate all season long here. Add the weather in, add the wind blowing out. I love the spot here tonight. Let's jump to, on the Padres side, really not much interest outside of Machado. Sanchez is solid enough. I mean, he's got a 28% strikeout rate at home this season, despite obviously the Padres' very low strikeout lineup, but they have some high strikeout bats in there. So I just hope that he can mitigate the damage and get some ground balls and things like that. So that's kind of why I'm off the Padres, and I also like other offenses more personally for me. Let's jump to the next game here, a game where I really don't have much interest in as well. It's the Marlins. It's the Cardinals here. Braxton Garrett on the mound, Sonny Gray on the mound. It's more, I just like other pitchers more and for cheaper than Sonny Gray and Braxton Garrett. I really didn't like a lot. Obviously, you love him. You're kind of got a ceiling poster, Braxton Garrett right there. So talk to me in terms of this game. Any bats for you? Sounds like probably a pass for you, but any interest here?
Yeah, no. Here. If I wanted to get crazy, might do like a Marlins stack just on like a low entry team just to hopefully hit the nuts like my guy, who was it? Jake Swales that was stacking against who was he stacking against the other day? Oh, Chris Sale, something crazy like that. But man, yeah, nothing on my main team. I think both of these pitchers mow.
Yeah, I would just grab some of these righties against Braxton Garrett. Mason Wynn, I think, is good. Goldschmidt, Arenado. Looking at the numbers, 17.5% strikeout rate against righties. Allows some power and some hard hits, 55% hard hit rate from the righties. So only the righties for me and the Cardinals, which obviously the Cardinals saw that, loaded their lineup with 7 righties. Obviously Carlson's a switch hitter there. So I don't hate a mini stack in the Cardinals. It's just much better ballparks, much better hitting environments on the slate. So realistically, for me, this game is kind of a pass for bats in my 2 to 3 lineups here that I play nightly. Another game here where I don't have a lot of interest at all from bats. It's the Red Sox in Toronto here. Kikuchi on the mound, Pivetta, 2 of my favorite pitchers on the entire slate here. I'll throw it over to you. Any Toronto, any Red Sox interest here in Toronto?
Yeah, no interest in the Blue Jays bats. Not against Pivetta. Kikuchi, I don't. Like I said earlier, I mean the Red Sox really struggle against left-handed pitching. I mean, if you wanted to stack the righties, I don't think it would be the worst thing, but I'm not going to do it. I would not suggest doing it. But this game's a pass for me, Nate. I'll just go there.
Yeah, Team ISO under 150 on the season against left-handed pitching and a strikeout rate approaching 30%. It's just a no-go for me. And then I don't want to pick on Pivetta. I like Pivetta a lot in tournaments. I don't think he comes in with very much ownership at all. Like I said, I like pairing these two pitchers together, get you a little bit unique, get you off that Skeens ownership as well. And both these guys, I think, could come close to matching the upside of Paul Skeens at a points per dollar basis here tonight. Let's jump to the next one here. We're going out to hot Atlanta here. Looking at the temps in Atlanta, 90 degrees. I'm sure it's humid as can be. Wind kind of blowing in at 10 miles an hour, so little hurts the bats a little bit here, but the humidity and the temperature should mitigate that a little bit. Max Fried on the hill. Don't really have any interest in these Tigers at all. Maybe a Banez or a Matt Vierling, something like that, or a Riley Green, one-offs or mini stacks, but realistically not a spot for me. Don't want to pick on Max Fried when there's other attackable spots personally. And then these Braves have started to hit the ball a little bit. Reese Olson, below average strikeout guy. I mean, can I interest you in any of these Braves bats? They are expensive. I like the Phillies more at a similar price point. I think I put the Dodgers ahead of them, even at their ownership. But any interest here in Atlanta for you in terms of hitting?
Yeah, I think you got to have some interest in these Braves. I mean, they're not going to be owned. I mean, you're going to get some Cubs ownership, some Giants ownership, obviously some Coors ownership. I just think there's going to be ownership in other places, especially the Coors game, right? When you're talking about the Braves versus the Dodgers in terms of salary on DK, you can't stack them both. I think the Braves come in way under than the Dodgers, and rightfully so, right? I mean, Dodgers in a great spot, but these Braves are cooking at the right time. Olsen, Ozuna, Kelenic hit a bomb, I think a leadoff bomb yesterday. Austin Riley's hit, I think, 3 bombs in the last couple games. So, yeah, I think these Braves are the ticket tonight. Don't mind playing them at all.
Yeah, I would start with the lefties. Really like Kelenic a lot. Obviously, really like Matt Olson a lot. Forrest Wall, I think, is down there. What is he? Stone minimum. 2,500. So a value play there. Another lefty. Ozzy, like I said, Kelenic, Ozzy, Olson would be my 3 favorites. I really like that mini stack as a full 5-3 if you go something like that with those 3. And then obviously Marcell Ozuna has been one of the best hitters in baseball. 6,200 is a pretty steep price point to pay for Marcell Ozuna, but he's definitely earned that price point. Has pretty similar numbers to Aaron Judge on the season. So fully on board with the Braves. I prefer more as a mini stack though here. Starting with the lefties personally is kind of where I'm going if I go to Atlanta here. And then, yeah, no real interest in these Tigers against Max Fried personally. Couple games left on this slate. We're going to jump out to Texas here. The Mets head into town. David Peterson, my boy, on the mound. John Gray, not fully stretched out yet. Probably going to go about 80 pitches are here. 80 to 85 pitches, I would assume, here against the Mets. I have some interest in some of these Mets. Francisco Lindor is hitting the ball well right now. He's always a threat to steal some bases. He ranks very well in our hitter rankings. Brandon Nimmo ranks very well in our hitter rankings as well. Starlin Marte. Some of these Mets grade out pretty good for us over here at SHIPIT Nation against John Gray. Obviously, John Gray, pretty good real-life pitcher. He is coming back from an injury, right? It's not fully stretched out. So I don't mind some of these Mets, just one-offs and mini stacks more personally for me. And then these Rangers, I just haven't been enthused with this Rangers offense overall. A team ISO of 121 against left-handed pitching. I like the Rangers a lot more against right-handed pitching, so I will have 0 Texas in my lineups here tonight.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, those Mets, wow, they were pretty unstoppable yesterday against Dylan Cease, highest priced pitcher, and they just put a leather spot on him. But yeah, John Gray's pretty good pitcher, real life pitcher. You shut the Dodgers down for 3 or 4 innings the other night, and getting back into the swing of things. So I'm going to be lower on this game. I'm with you. I mean, I don't like the Rangers. Peterson can't strike anybody out, and you said you're the Rangers whisperer, and you say right-handers only at home. So I'm off the Rangers as well. Off the Mets, Lindor as a one-off would be the only one batting leadoff.
Yeah, like I said, I'm on those guys that I mentioned: Lindor, Nemo, Pete Alonso. Obviously, can always play. Starlin Marte. That's kind of where I'm at there. And then, yeah, no Texas interest for me. Not even really one-offs. I just like other spots more. Peterson can't strike anybody out until he faces Texas here tonight, hopefully for me. Couple games left and some very important games here, especially these next 2 here. We're going to head to Wrigley Field here. 90 degrees, 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out to left field. 2 decent real-life pitchers on the mound. I really love the Giants. Giants are overall pound for pound my favorite stack on the entire board. I absolutely love these righties: Heliot Ramos, Matt Chapman, Soler, Wilmer Flores. Add some of these lefties like a Conforto in there, who I think has a pretty good chance to hit one over the wall here tonight. Giants, like I said, my favorite stack of the board here. I prefer to attack Assad more than I prefer to attack Jordan Hicks. These Cubs were hurtful to me yesterday, but I think it's a good spot to go right back to both sides in this game here, personally. Throw it over to you. Any interest here in one of the best hitting conditions and environments on the entire slate?
Yeah, I'm with you, Nate. We talked about it Friday night with that Coors game and, the Arizona game versus the Coors game. I think this game rivals the Coors game. We got the wind. We got Wrigley. Another thing, too, both of these, defenses, if you will, 2 of the worst, top 3 in terms of holding runners on. So stolen bases, you get runners on, could turn a single into a double, maybe even a triple, via stolen base. So I think we're going to see the wheels are rolling because we got 2 guys that can't throw anybody out. I really like this game. Got wind blowing out. You got power. Javier Assad's been one of the luckiest pitchers in the majors this year. I think that comes to an end tonight. I think this game gets up in the teens tonight, Nate, and outscores the Rockies game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like both sides here. Looking at the numbers, too, last 30 days, Assad has a 13% walk rate. I mean, you start walking guys in a wind game in Wrigley with 90-degree temperatures. Like I said, I walked outside and instantly started sweating. Super humid here. Wrigley is about 2.5 hours down the interstate from me. Sure, it's just as humid there with the wind. I mean, that can lead into to troubles very, very, very quickly. And they got some very good guys in the middle of this lineup, like a Patrick Bailey has very good plate discipline, about a 15% walk rate on the season over the last 30 day numbers. Chapman too, very patient at the plate. Yastrzemski. So I think like I said, Assad's BABIP and kind of luck this season comes to a screeching halt here tonight. Giants are my favorite offense on the board. I prefer the Giants side much more than I prefer the Cubs side at probably pretty similar ownership overall. It would be mainly the fly ball guys for me from Chicago. Jordan Hicks is a ground ball guy, right? About a 50% ground ball pitcher. So looking at the course of the numbers, Ian Happ, Tauchman, Suzuki, Bellinger, Morel, Pete Crow Armstrong, those are kind of your fly ball hitters for the Cubs. Crow Armstrong's probably my favorite guy just with the salary savings if he cracks the lineup there. Bellinger at 5,600, obviously he's the best play from the Cubs. He is also the most expensive. So got to kind of pick and choose there. Are you going to spend up for a Bellinger? Or are you going to go to one of those guys like a Freddie Freeman at a similar price point, or a Tio Hernandez or a Will Smith, something like that? So very good game. Both sides. Love both sides here. Probably my favorite offense on the Giants and probably my 3rd or 4th favorite offense in the Cubs here, personally for me. Heading over to Coors Field here. We got to talk about it. It's a Coors Slate. Not only is it a Coors Slate, it's 90 degrees in Coors Field, 13-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to right center, and the Dodgers are in town against the worst bullpen in baseball. Cal Quantrill on the hill, 18% strikeout rate on the year, gets hit pretty hard. But looking at the top of this order, $7,000 for Ohtani, $6,300 for Freeman, almost $6K for Will Smith. Tio Hernandez is $6K. And then the back half of the lineup, I think, is where all the ownership goes, because how do you afford Paul Skeens and an Ohtani? You play these cheap guys down at the bottom, the Rojas's, the Gavin Lux, the Biggios, the Haywards. What happens when you play those guys? They also are pinch hit concerns, right? They pull out. I haven't looked at the bullpen usage for Colorado. If they pull a lefty out of that pen, a lot of those guys at the back half, the Biggios, the Luxes, the Haywards, are going to get probably pinch hit for here tonight. Talk to me. Are you going to the Dodgers? I personally have more interest in the Rocky side against James Paxton, who I think is broken. He can't strike anybody out. He's struggling with that elbow. I really like these Rockies, especially these power righties against Paxton. So for me, Coors is a Rockies Coors Field slate for me personally, and not the Dodgers, just due to the price points and the ownership difference there personally.
Yeah, interesting game, Nate, in the sense of, you got life without Mookie, right? Mookie's the engine or the cog in that engine that makes it run. We'll see how they do. I mean, 7,000. I mean, that's like, was Acuna even 7,000 last year? I don't remember, but That's an awful lot to pay. There's no way you're getting a top arm, 2 top arms, and the top end of the Dodgers in your stack tonight. So you will have to play those guys that are going to get pitch hit for. I like the Dodgers. Kyle Quantrill, he's okay. He doesn't strike anybody out. Gives up a lot of contact. And then I'm with you. Paxton, no good. Tovar's been knocking the cover off the ball. The Hunter Goodman, former Tennessee great, is hit 2 bombs on Saturday, I believe. I think this Rockies team squarely in play, Nades. I'm with you in terms of that. The Dodgers, Paxton, no good. This game is going to shoot out as well. But, hey, a lot of these games are going to shoot out, right? You might see double digits in a lot of these games. But it's tough to stack those Dodgers. It would be one-offs only for me. It's just tough to stack them, and I don't want to stack a guy that's going to get taken out midway through the game.
So just for a frame of reference, you put Skeens and you put Kikuchi in, right? The 2 best quote-unquote best pitchers, right? The 2 chalkiest pitcher options. And then you put in Freeman and Ohtani, you're left with $3,100 a roster spot. You can definitely make it work, but, man, it gets pretty gross quickly playing those 2 guys. Even if you take Kikuchi out and you play my guy, right, my favorite cheapie, Carson Spires, you're still left with $3,400. It's pretty tough to make a roster spot. So that's why I think the back half of this Dodgers lineup is going to be much higher owned than probably anticipated here, because everybody wants to play the 6.5 implied team total for the Dodgers in a Coors Field against Quantrill and the worst bullpen in baseball with the wind blowing out, 90 degrees. If there wasn't better hitting environments on the slate that I think can contest, right? The Wrigley game, I really like the Philly game as well. That's kind of the reason I'm off the Dodgers, and I like the salaries much more on the Rockies. And like I said, James Paxton just can't strike anybody out. He's looked horrible, and striking out 12% of righties. Give me the Tovars, give me the Brenton Doyles, Jacob Stallings. I really love Stallings a ton. Hunter Goodman at 4K, I really like a ton. Montero. So for me, it's all these righties for the Rockies that I put over the Dodgers personally on the slate for me. Last game on the slate here, we're heading out west to Los Angeles here. The Angels, I shouldn't say Los Angeles anymore. A guy in the chat will get on my tail saying this. The Angels are not in LA, but nonetheless, they're still the Los Angeles Angels here. Talk to me. Any Brewers interest for you against Soriano here? And then Carlos Rodriguez didn't look great in his first start here, but not a very scary offense in general, these Angels. Talk to me. Any bats for you here tonight?
I think this game gets lost in the shuffle, Nades. I mean, it's like not a real sexy game. It's the last game on the slate. Don't have great hitting weather, I don't think. You don't have great, pitchers. I mean, Soriano might get some ownership, but, man, it's going to be tough to play these guys. I think if you're in the lead, you're going to be hoping this game doesn't shoot out, which I don't think it does. This Angels bullpen, though, goodness gracious, it's we're on the border of having one of the worst ever bullpens in the Angels bullpen. If they get to that bullpen, it may be a shootout, but I'm gonna bank on it not getting to the shootout range, Nades, and kind of go heavier on those games we just talked about.
Yeah, I like those games we just talked about. I mean, this game is about 20 to 25 degrees cooler than any other game on the slate. There is some slight wind blowing out. It's not the greatest hitters park there. If I had interest in these Brewers or this game, it would be the Brewers, not because it's a homer take, but Brewers are one of the most aggressive teams in all of baseball. You see it, right? They're constantly stealing bases there. They got a lot of these lefties that attack Soriano here. Willie Adames I like a lot too at 4,600 there. He's been very good. Rhys Hoskins. So my interest would be on the Brewers side, guaranteed 19 at bats, but nonetheless, not two of my favorite offenses here on the slate. I like a lot of the other spots more that we already touched on. If I were to go to a side, it would be these Brewers, just the Tarangs, the Yelich's, the Adames, the Frelichs of the world. But you're spending some salary to play those guys as well here. So for me, like I said, like other spots more. That's all 9 games here. We talked pitching. We talked hitters. Remember, the slate does start 30 minutes more or earlier than kind of standard that we see, 5:40, 6:40 Eastern time, lock time with those first 3 games that you definitely don't want to miss. They're very good games in terms of pitching and hitting. Hamwich brings us to our home run calls. I'll throw it over to you. Who is going deep here tonight?
I'm going to head down to Atlanta. I'm going to go Marcell Ozuna as my home run call today.
Marcell Ozuna. Okay, well, I'm going out to Coors Field. I'm not going to the Doyers. I'm going to the other side. Hunter Goodman is going deep here. 4K outfielder. Really like Hunter Goodman to attack the splits there of Paxton. And then I will go to my favorite stack, the Giants here. I'm going my boy, third base, Matt Chapman, 4,800, running it back with Chapman and Goodman. Those are my two guys of the evening here. Good luck tonight in all your contests. Appreciate everyone watching. If you're watching back on playback, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you are not a member yet, last chance to use that promo code FGWC15, 15% off any monthly or annual packages. Likely will probably be the last chance to get in at a discount before NFL season. Can't hold me to that. Obviously, Hoop and Tambo are going to make the calls on that, but probably a pretty good chance this is the last chance to get in. We're already the cheapest all-in rate in the industry. Head over to Twitter, check out our winners. They speak for themselves. Tons of five-figure winners across all sports over here, which we got you covered, including NASCAR, PGA, MMA, and obviously MLB. But good luck to everyone tonight. Hope to see those SHIPIT Nation logos at the top. For Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. We'll catch you guys next time.